Welcome to All Things Fisker. Thanks for joining us, everyone, tonight. We're going to be talking episode 17. The theme tonight with my special guest, Matt from Ocean Views, Tesla Tips by Mountain Ranger, Mr. Mountain Ranger himself. We're going to be talking about the Fisker earnings call that happened on Monday, pre-market, and we're going to give a recap on that, takeaways that we got from that particular earnings call, a lot of updates, quite a lot of updates. And then we're going to give what's next. What can we expect next from Fisker, and what we can expect, from the Fisker Ocean, when, maybe we'll get the Fisker Ocean, all that fun stuff. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight, episode 17, All Things Fisker. Now, we want to do a lot of different things tonight. We got a poll that we put over on the YouTube chat. So check out the poll. We ask a simple question. When do you think the first customer delivery will take place? You have a few different choices. You have March 2023, April 2023, May, and June of 2023. So answer that poll, and we'll go ahead and announce the results when we get to that section. So, Matt, how are you today?
I'm doing fine. How's it going with you?
Going pretty good. We got actually some new news for the people who are listening or like to listen to the podcast. We got some new news for the people that like the podcast. Guess what?
What?
We're now on Pandora. Pandora, that's a pretty cool one. So you can listen to the All Things Fisker podcast on Pandora. You can listen to it on iHeartRadio. That's kind of neat. And you can now listen to it on Stitcher. So that's like a podcasting platform. So we added 3 new podcasting platforms between last week and this week. And we ended up posting the earnings call that we did on YouTube, that we live streamed and chatted with everybody. That's on the podcast for the people that wanted to listen to it without having to look at their computer. Maybe you're on a run, a walk, whatever it may be, and you can listen to it on your phone on every one of those platforms.
I got a quick comment on that.
Yeah.
My wife noticed on her Spotify account, she was in the car, and it actually asked her, the Fiskerati's podcast came up as a recommendation, just totally out of the blue.
That's crazy. Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
So
yeah. When we had our current car doesn't have internet access. You'd have to tether it from your phone. But when we had a rental car the other week, we actually ended up having internet service on it, or connectivity, and I ended up pulling up the podcast on TuneIn and got to listen to, I forgot what episode it was. It might have been episode 12 or 13 from All Things Fisker. So I thought it was kind of fun to see it on something other than the computer. But on a car, it's actually pretty cool. So if Fisker ends up supporting iHeartRadio, which we know they will, I think iHeartRadio was one of the things on there, you will be able to sit in your Fisker Ocean and listen to All Things Fisker podcast. Why you'd want to do that, I have no clue. But you can do it on iHeartRadio. So that's pretty exciting for the people that like podcasts. And a shout out to our podcast friends in Europe. There's a lot of people that listen to the podcast in Europe, which can be found, the All Things Fisker podcast can be found in the automotive section under leisure. So check that out if you haven't. Now, let's get on with the show. I also pulled up in the chat on YouTube. There's actually a fair number of people checking us out tonight. It looks like 58. Maybe it'll increase. But we do have quite a few different people that are joining us tonight. Some of the same regulars. So thanks to everybody for sticking with us and chatting with us on these Wednesday nights. But yeah, if you have any questions as we chat about stuff, let us know in the comments here. We'll go ahead and keep an eye on those. I'm going to just break it out of my window here and throw it over here. We also have right now 46 people who voted on the poll so far. So make sure to answer that question. When will the Fisker Ocean customer delivery, the first Fisker Ocean customer delivery, take place? Okay, that was a lot, Matt. Now let's go ahead and chat about the earnings, the earnings call earlier this week. Now, I woke up at 3:00 Pacific time and started checking my phone. I went on to Yahoo Finance because that's the stock app that I have, and I kept looking at 3 a.m. Oh, no earnings call, no press release yet, no press release. Okay, back to sleep for a little bit. I got up at, I think, at like 3:30, checked my phone, had my alarm set for 4 o'clock as a fail safe. But I woke up, looked at 3:30, didn't see anything. And then I got up at 3:59, 3:58, thereabouts, and noticed there was a press release published, and Fisker released their 2022 and their Q4 earnings and 2022 full year results. So I was like, oh wow, it's there. Okay, so I thought to myself, we're going to stream the live stream on Monday for the earnings call on Monday. I think it was 5:30 Pacific time, AM Pacific time, and I thought, should I get up at 5 o'clock and try to do like a rush article? And I thought, no, you know what? I'm going to get up at 4 o'clock. So I came over here to my desk where I'm sitting right now and pulled up the press release and started writing. And it took me about an hour to write something up. Freezing down here in San Diego. It's been like 40 degrees. And here's something interesting for you, Matt. It actually snowed earlier today here in San Diego.
That's what I heard.
Yes,
wow.
I actually took photos. I don't have any on this computer, but I took photos of snow and hail. First hail, then some snowflakes. But it was pretty cool to see that. So it was cold on Monday, just like it was this afternoon when it snowed. No snow on Monday, but I wrote the article, published it, got ready for the earnings call. And I must say, it was probably one of the best earnings call that I've heard to date. And I've listened to every earnings call. It was really fantastic. I think Henrik came out, fully charged and answered a lot of questions that investors have had. A lot of people who had reserved or pre-ordered a Fisker Ocean, they have loads of questions. He answered all of them, or most of them, not all of them, but most of them. And I just thought overall it was good. So let's dive into it. There's an article that I did called Fisker Provides a Business Update, and I'm going to end up, reading just a tad bit of it because I thought there was actually some really interesting stuff. The one thing that I thought was really interesting was the company, and unexpectedly, they said they're going to they forecasted an 8 to 12% annual gross margin and potentially a positive EBITDA for this year of 2023. Now, that to me was like a shocker. That was a surprise to see in the press release, and then Henrik talking about that. He did say that Fisker will make money off the first car it ships. That to me was interesting. There was just so much good information in the call. So Fisker built the 15 fleet vehicles for Magna and delivered them. And Magna is going to use those 15 vehicles for data collection and validation to test and validate future features for the Fisker Ocean. And they said, Fisker ended up saying that one of those vehicles is going to be showcased to 15 other OEMs in Sweden in March. So I thought that was pretty neat. That gave us, that was like one of the first questions we asked of those 20 questions that we talked about the other week was, what about those 15 cars that Fisker was supposed to build in December? Like, we never heard at all about those, but we got the update on Monday. So that was the first thing I saw. There was another kind of like a surprising thing that I saw just kind of going through the press release was a picture of the Fisker PEAR. There's actually two pictures of the Fisker PEAR. Let me throw them up on the screen here. Let me see if I can throw them up on the screen. Did you have a chance to see those Fisker Ocean PEAR, or excuse me, the Fisker PEAR photos?
Yeah, I did. It's kind of similar to when we saw the I guess the mock-up with all of the covering on it, and when you take all the covering off, it kind of looks like this. So yeah, it's not so different, but the rear window is very unusual. Like, it looks like the whole top and then the side of the rear is all one piece of glass. It's super striking looking.
Yeah, super different, I thought. Yeah. It was definitely different. Let's go ahead and pull it up here. I have it right here. Let's see if my computer loads. Go ahead and throw up some pictures. There we go. There is the Fisker PEAR that we saw on Monday. Pretty neat. So it looked to me like the brake light kind of surrounds the whole rear window. The thing that you still can't really tell though about this. Like, you definitely can see a lot of glass. The roof, you can kind of see the curvature of the canopy glass. We had two photos. This one was really dark, so hard to see, but you can kind of see, the glass in the front, and then you can kind of see the wrap around. They definitely have, a very curved A pillar, but the glass right here, we end up seeing in the photos from previous, when the car was going down that 6 Aqueduct Bridge in Los Angeles, they had like a green looking, I don't know what they glued there. They put, some
Like
sort
some
of a wrap
vinyl, I
there.
think.
Yeah, to make it look
Yeah.
like there was supposed to be, metal there or something. But there isn't, according to this particular rendering. But the one thing that's still kind of, for me, that we don't know how it works or much about it is the Houdini trunk. Um, the the hatchback in the back, like there's not much anything revealing kind of how, other than that patent application we saw, it's hard to tell kind of, visually from this particular picture how that's going to work. But I was actually happy to see this. To me, it looks definitely a compact car, as we knew when we saw it in that first video clip. But the car looks neat. I still love the front end of the car. To me, it resembles like a miniature Fisker Ocean. I
Yeah.
might be
Definitely has the family resemblance in the front there.
That's right. Yeah, I thought I might be the opinion of one that thinks that. I know some people say it doesn't look anything like the Fisker Ocean, but to me, it looks a little bit like a miniature Fisker Ocean. And the price is I think it's going to be about $29,900. Oh, I wrote it right there. Fisker PEAR is priced at $29,900 before government tax incentives. So if once this is built in the Foxconn factory in Ohio, in the Lordstown, Ohio, the car is going to be in the low 20,000 range, which is really impressive. And I was expecting today, not to go totally off tangent, but I listened to the portions of Tesla's Investor Day today, and I know there was, like, on Motor Trend's website, they were talking about how they may end up announcing a under $25,000 car, under $35,000 car. And I didn't hear anything about that. So this car, granted, it's not going to be built until mid 2024 or thereabouts, and a lot can happen between now and then. But to me, that bodes really well for the Fisker PEAR. So what Fisker had to say about the PEAR, they actually had some pretty good information. They ended up saying the Fisker PEAR development is progressing really well. It's following the inaugural drivable prototype that they did in December. That's the video that we, fortunately got and posted from an anonymous source. They expect the top version of the Fisker PEAR to be well over, quote, 300 miles of an electric range, with a fully revolutionary EE architecture with just a few central computer units that they call the Blade computer. Don't know much about that, but that was kind of an interesting tidbit. The PEAR also has 5,600 or 5,600 reservations today.
Is that the first specific number on just the PEAR? I think.
So I remember seeing a 4,000 before and a 5,000 last earnings release. So it looks like it may have increased by about 600 since last earnings release and this earnings release. So not as much as maybe I would have expected. Clearly, the Fisker Ocean has 65,000 now, which was really an interesting insight. And the reason I mentioned that number being kind of an interesting, maybe not insight, but interesting, was we talked about it last week, because last week we ended up getting that YouTube video from the Auto Motor Sport, who interviewed Henrik Fisker over at the eCar Expo. I think that was in Stockholm, Sweden. And at the time there, Henrik ended up saying to the interviewer that there was, I want to say, 63,000 Fisker Ocean reservations. So we talked about last week. Well, with the cancellations that they have, the net reservations didn't really go up that much, maybe 1,000, but that was only up to eCar Expo. So the event sounds to me like it was quite a success, and the Fisker ended up generating an additional 2,000 plus reservations, which was pretty good. So they've definitely had some people cancel to go with other electric vehicles, but most people are sticking with Fisker, which is pretty cool. Like we're sticking with Fisker, so that's pretty good. I would say the reservations look better than we thought last week, or at least I thought last week. And do you have any thoughts on reservations? Have you been tracking reservations or looking at anything like that?
No, I figure it's going to stay. It's not going to increase very much until actual. I think the Extreme goes into build and stuff like that. I think when people, once the one is done, those 5,000 units are done, and the rest of it starts to open up, I think you'll see more interest in it, and it'll probably be in the news, and it'll be generally, more known about the company and the car at that point too. I think it's just a little early right now. So
it is. Once vehicles are on the road too, I would expect reservations to continually uptick. Now, there's a really cool quote that was a part of the press release, and it kind of summarized a good portion of the earnings call. And what Fisker said was, quote, "We are the first startup to homologate 2 continents simultaneously. We have completed over 250 various tests, and the teams are submitting these results continuously to regulatory authorities. The ability to initially sell the Ocean in the US and 7 European launch markets is unprecedented and a major de-risking strategy that we implemented from the outset. This approach offers the opportunity to increase sales and shift vehicles to whichever market has the strongest growth." And I thought that was a pretty cool quote from Henrik that kind of summarized where things are. So as you know, and maybe hopefully all of our viewers know, is we've been kind of tracking the regulatory approvals, the government certifications. We were hoping we would hear everything's approved, we're ready to sell Fisker Oceans, but that wasn't the case. But the good news is it sounded like things were progressing, and the company expects the government certifications. It sounded like, or at least my interpretation was, sometime in the month of March. So this month that we're in, we should see some sort of maybe approval or the government certifications to be completed. And then Henrik said at that point, they then can go ahead and start selling the vehicles. So if we look back to the Ocean 1 build confirmation that I received back at I think it was like January 5th, that had obviously, hey, we've confirmed your build, we sent it to Magna for building, we have we've given you your sequence number 469, and your estimated delivery quarter is Q2 2023. So it lines up that, okay, maybe if I was one of the first, not quite the beginning, but close to the first to lock in my Fisker Ocean, they had originally anticipated a Q2 delivery timeline. However, I think we may have looked at a Twitter the other week and saw that Fisker was responding to some people on Twitter saying deliveries end of March. So it's still possible that my estimated delivery time, somebody asked this earlier today, I think I posted on the forum, my estimated delivery quarter is Q2 2023, which could end up being April, May, or June, but it's estimated. So it's entirely possible that my Fisker Ocean could be delivered at the end of March. It could potentially also be after June, and it could be possibly July. So who knows? Estimated, Q2 2023. That's kind of where we're at. But good news is the company's still doing tests.
Sean, before we leave that, do you want to talk about the poll?
Yeah, let's
we
go
did the
ahead and end the
poll
poll.
on the estimated first customer delivery month.
Absolutely. Yeah. Do you want to read the results?
Since
Do you
we're
have them
talking
up?
about that now, so
Yeah. Do you have the results up?
I
I
see
can
it.
read them off.
Yeah, I see it right here. I see
Go for
it
it.
looks like the top pick was April with 36%. Next is May with 32%, then March with 16%, and then June with 14%. So I picked April myself. I think the first ones are possibly April. It seems a safe bet. I think March is a little too soon. Unless it's Europe, it's possible that Europe could get it sooner because they don't have to go across the ocean and all that. So, but
Correct.
you know,
Yeah. I couldn't vote because I created the poll, but
yeah,
I was going to choose April.
yeah.
That's what I mentally chose. So I'm with the cohort of the 36%, and there was 61 people who voted. So if you voted in the poll, go ahead and do us a favor right now and like this video. If you enjoy the video, if you enjoy Matt and me chatting about the earnings recap, we were not even, haven't even dented the surface yet. Or so go ahead and like the video. Go ahead and subscribe to the Fiskerati channel. Go ahead and subscribe to Matt's channel as well. And let's get back to the business.
Before we go on to the next thing,
away.
I want to go
Yeah.
back to some people are asking about the PEAR.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about the PEAR with the price of $29,900. That would most likely be the sport model. And the other models, if they do the same type of thing, like an ultra and extreme, it's going to be probably, who knows, it could be like $39.99 for the next one up, or 40 something thousand for the next for the extreme. So so the 29,900 is the base model, just to let people know clear, right?
That's right.
The case.
And Fisker was very clear in this last press release they did earlier this week. They said, as I read earlier, we expect the top version to achieve well over 300 miles of electric range. So that means that there's going to be more than one version. If there's a top version, there's definitely going to be a bottom version, and maybe there's going to be a middle version. So they may have three trim levels. That's just
most
guessing.
Likely a different size battery pack than just
That's
like
right.
the Ocean.
And maybe different features too, right? Maybe there'll be a front wheel drive. Maybe there'll be an all wheel drive. Maybe there'll be a sport version. Who the heck knows what the PEAR is going to offer. We have reserved the PEAR though. We reserved the PEAR. I can't even remember how long ago that was. I want to say it was definitely last year. It might've been in the summer of last year. I want to say we were like 1,500, 2,000 or something like that. I don't know, put it in some article. But I'm excited for that. If we get our Fisker Ocean 1, we do also have a Fisker Ocean Sport Reserve that we may or may not purchase because, we might find, one Ocean is enough for our family. We don't need two Oceans. But we did reserve, or I reserved the least expensive version, the Sport. So just like the PEAR, it's going to be, if we got the PEAR, I would likely get the least expensive option just so we have a second car. Because we are noticing this past week or couple of weeks that it would be nice to have a second car in a couple different occasions. But we've made do for the last close to, I don't know, a good year and a half with only one vehicle in our household. Primarily because of the pandemic, our lifestyles changed a little bit and we hadn't needed two cars, but things may change and we might need a second car, and maybe it'll be a Sport. Who knows when that would be delivered? Maybe we'll be likely to get a PEAR sooner before our Sport. Who knows? So we have options. That's the good thing. Yeah. So let's take a look at this. So Fisker ended up sharing a little bit more information. They said that we can expect, one of our questions that we asked last week was, what's the deal with the Fisker lounges? When are we going to get information on Fisker lounges? And if you remember from the earnings call, if you listened to it, it was mid Q2 2023. So you guess which month you want to pick in Q2 2023. But we think that let's see here, let's see if I can find it real quick. Here we go. Yeah, so I think that we have two two lounges that are going to potentially open up. We have the Munich one over in Germany, and we have the Grove over in Los Angeles. Mid Q2 2023 is not far away. That could potentially be April, May, or June. I'm going to go with May on that one, being mid. But Fisker gives themselves some leeway one way or another in order to launch those. And we did get a photo and like a very little tiny clip of Henrik over at the lounge in Los Angeles. Did you see that?
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. He's walking towards that storefront where they have like the big wooden display out front with the, you know, the band, I don't know what it is, like, but it's like some sort of a painting or a, I don't know, like advertisement in front of their storefront to cover up the construction that's going on. And we saw recently that that's changed. Some of the verbiage on theirs changed. It said coming in, you know, March 2023. But Henrik opens up the door, he takes a look at the camera, and then he walks through the door, and it's like, oh, I wonder what's behind the door. So that was pretty exciting. That was cool to see. And the Munich one, we haven't really seen much of an update yet. We did get a couple photos a while back from one of our readers that lives near the Marienplatz, and it's kind of more of the same. You just kind of see the storefront, and you really can't see too much behind the scenes. But there's the image on the screen for those that are watching. You see Henrik peering, is, you know, looking at the camera, and the little writing there on the screen is, you know, coming in March of 2023. So maybe it's not going to be March 2023, but mid Q2 2023 is kind of what we're looking at. So some of the takeaways that we got from the earnings call were, Fisker said that they made progress on last mile delivery and support infrastructure, and California DMV sales license is approved for the Fisker Ocean. And I ended up putting in my notes, whoop, whoop, as I thought that was actually big news, because if Fisker needs to be able to have a sales license here in the state of California in order to potentially sell Fisker Oceans to customers in states that don't have a sales license, where they don't have a sales license. So I believe one of those states might be Washington State. And there's going to be people potentially, if Fisker can't get a sales license up there, people will have to work with Fisker to get transportation of their Fisker Ocean from Los Angeles or wherever the vehicles might come into port to wherever location they may be in Washington. So I thought that was an interesting takeaway. Matt, did you?
Yeah, I read about that also, about states that have a reciprocity deal with California, and I'm pretty sure Washington State does too.
Okay.
Where it's done is that the state, the tax is work between the two states about having to pay it. In my state, I don't think has anything with California, but I'm sure they'll probably do an East Coast a deal with the distribution centers, and they'll probably pick one of the port cities. That state, it'll probably be the one if they don't have one in my particular state. So I guess we'll see how that rolls out.
Yeah, that's exciting though. That's kind of like the next step though, for people to get their car. That now Fisker can actually make the sale. Now they just have to get the approval, the homologation testing completed in March, hopefully, and then followed by the regulatory approval process, and then we'll see deliveries happen. So our cohort thought April. We'll have to keep tabs on that one. That that's today's March 1st, so we have 2 full months until April's complete. So that'll be exciting. Now, I thought another thing was pretty cool that was on the earnings call. To me, this was a big one. Fisker ended up announcing that, as we know, they're working on several future products. We know the PEAR, obviously, they showed a photo of it. We know they're working on the Ronin. And then Henrik, on New Year's Eve, if you remember, we shared the photos and talked about the photo of the Alaska pickup truck. He said like 2022, and there was like a picture kind of transposed behind, I should say 2023, and the pickup truck. And we thought, oh, wow, that's a good tease. That's a good, New Year's, resolution or goal. So we got word that the Fisker is working on a pickup truck program. It's going to have features never seen before in a pickup truck, whatever that might be. Do you have any guesses on what that can be? I'm not a huge truck guy. I've owned one truck in my life.
I'm guessing it's going to be similar to what Rivian has done. And since the PEAR has focused on unusual storage and cargo aspects, I think the pickup truck may have some interesting, maybe some bed features or some storage features that are different. So that's my guess. And did he also mention that the Alaska pickup truck is going to have heavily using Ocean parts or Ocean
He said the Ocean platform. Yeah, he did. Yeah. He said the Ocean platform. So
that should make development a lot faster too, if it's using the same platform.
That's right, and it'll save the company money because they won't have to reinvent the wheel, so to speak. He did mention the platform. They changed the name slightly. I can't remember what it was, but it's a couple different characters. I think I did write that in my notes. I can't see it. But we got some other interesting news. There's so much good news out of that Fisker's internal findings show a longer range for the physical Ocean than initially projected. That was pretty cool. We've been wondering about the EPA range and how the battery testing was going. What's the update there? It sounded like they had some success with that, but they can't release anything until the agency does it. I didn't quite catch that exactly, but the projected range based on the internal testing now shows 360 miles versus 350 miles for here in North America. And that went ahead and reinforced Fisker's expectation that the Ocean will have the class-leading range for any SUV priced under $70K. So that's good news for people who have chosen, like myself, the 22-inch Slipstream F3 Slipstream wheels in mine in black. Not that the color matters, but the larger wheel, as we've all discussed previously, will end up impacting the battery range. But if we're getting more mileage potentially than what was previously advertised, that helps customers who are going with the larger wheel. So that was pretty cool. We talked about in more good news the EBITDA that the company mentioned. They said Fisker's on track to be profitable this year, which in my opinion of one, is a significant achievement for a startup in the EV industry. Now, they said possibly profitable, right? I think it was possibly profitable.
And I think that's if they hit their target of, what was it, 42,000
42,400 units. Correct.
Yes.
Correct. And Geeta, she did mention that they're securing the parts still I think they may have already procured, or they may have already secured the parts for the first 300, or they'll have those done by the end of March, I think I may have heard. Did you catch that?
Yes. And I think I've been reading some comments and some of the message boards that some people are, I think they're mistakenly thinking that there's no contract set up, but there are contracts set up.
Yeah.
I think it's just verifying the parts and with all, because you got to figure there's a lot of part suppliers are involved with any car, and it's just managing that is a lot of work. And they did mention that they do have a team of people that's just their job, so
is to manage the supply chain. Yeah, if you look at the Fisker job postings of previous and current, there are job postings out there for people to manage the supply chain. So that's obviously a big part. And I think Fisker did mention somewhere in my notes, I want to say they have over 800 employees now. I forgot 850 colleagues is what they referred them to. Fisker bolstered its internal technical capabilities, and the global team approximates 850 colleagues as of February 24th, 2023. So employee headcount went up. I think the last report was in the 700s. So that was kind of interesting.
Here's a question I have. Yeah. How many employees do you think Fisker has that are actually in Graz, Austria? Do they have like offices there too?
They definitely have people on site. the people that, and I don't have any specific, any actual numbers given to me, but when I was there, I was told everybody wearing a Fisker jacket at the time, excluding people who were guests. Anyone who's a guest or a Fisker employee, my understanding, wore the Fisker jacket. So people know that is a Fisker employee, that's a Fisker employee, which differentiates them obviously from the Magna employees or whoever else might be on site visiting. There were a number of people that were wearing those Fisker jackets. We did see a photo a while back of a lot of people standing. I think it was in November, maybe even October. Maybe it was October timeframe. We saw the first Fisker Ocean rolled off the high volume assembly line, and it was a pre-production vehicle. And we ended up seeing, I don't even know how many people were standing, at the end of the line. It was maybe 100 people, maybe 75 people. It was a lot of people. I'm guessing that was a picture of both Magna employees and Fisker employees, but we'll never know. And I don't even think all of them were wearing, I don't know how many were wearing the jacket. Some were wearing the jacket, but I don't think everyone was wearing the jacket. I remembered a colorful picture. And I probably will take forever to find that photo, so I'm not going to even bother looking.
They should put that jacket on their what do you call it, store. I bet they would sell those. They're pretty nice.
It's really nice, and you would think I'd wear it during the show. I do wear it every now and again, but it's not that warm. It's a beautiful, nice jacket, but it's not super thick.
It's like a windbreaker, right?
It's like a windbreaker. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So down here, this sweatshirt to me is a lot warmer. I will say that the Fisker sweatshirt, the sustainable cotton sweatshirt that they have on their website, super thick, probably one of the thickest sweatshirts I have ever owned. It is so thick. And I should actually probably be wearing that right now because it's freezing down here. So yeah, that's a really cool, if you need a sweatshirt that's super thick, go to the Fisker store.
The store is still out of stock of a lot of items, like Rosanna just mentioned. I'm waiting for the water bottle myself.
So you haven't gotten those yet.
I gotten those. I talked to the customer support, and they said that they're out of stock. As soon as they get them in, they'll send them out. But a lot of stuff at their store is out of stock. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah. So have you gotten the hat, or did you get the shirt?
I actually haven't gotten anything yet. I'm still waiting for the initial, the hat and the shirt. Oh no, it's the hat and the water bottle is the first thing.
Hat and the water bottle. Okay.
Yeah. I'm still waiting on that.
Got it. So Cole wants a Fisker shirt. There you go. They are nice. I will say they're nice. I wear a medium. The shirt that I'm wearing, believe it or not, is actually made, I want to say 80% recycled water bottles. Can't even tell that it's recycled water bottles. It feels so comfortable, like cotton. But it's made with recycled
they're nice.
water bottles.
I ended up for the Black Friday thing. They had a sale, and I bought the long sleeve white T-shirt, and that's really nice too. I think I wore it on an episode back a while ago. But yeah, it's really nice. So. And I heard the hoodies are probably the nicest ones you can get. So
yeah, they're pretty nice.
Yeah.
And Rosanna said I should show it. I don't know what she's referring to. I think the jacket.
Show us the sweatshirt.
Show it the sweatshirt.
Do you have
see the sweatshirt? I can go get it. Do we really want to see it though? Probably not. But I'm happy to go get it. We'll wait and see what she says. Show us the sweatshirt. Okay, I'll still chat, but I'll go get the sweatshirt. Okay, I'm gonna go get the sweatshirt. I got my headset on, so I'll walk in here. I'll go get the sweatshirt. Really cool sweatshirt. Then we'll get back to the recap of the earnings because that's what people probably are more interested in hearing than seeing a sweatshirt on All Things Fisker. And definitely the people on the podcast, they probably don't care so much about something they can't even see. But here we go. Here is the sweatshirt and the jacket. They are coming back. Here we go. We've got the sweatshirt. Here's the sweatshirt. It's really nice, super thick, very durable sweatshirt. This is like probably the thickest material that I've ever seen on a sweatshirt, and I'm not exaggerating. It's such a heavy sweatshirt. Probably weighs 3 pounds. it's maybe 2.5, 3 pounds. It's really heavy. And I should actually put this on instead of what I'm wearing. But the reason why I don't wear it too often is it doesn't have a zipper in front. Almost every sweatshirt I enjoy wearing has a zipper. So that's the only drawback for me personally, but it is a beautiful sweatshirt, nice sweatshirt. And it has the Fisker logo on the back, and it has a little bit of screen print right here on the sleeve that says the world's most sustainable vehicle, California, Los Angeles, FiskerInc.com. Really nice sweatshirt. So there you go. Rosanna, you like the sweatshirt. I know Jim also has the water bottle that you're supposed to get at some point. And then here is the jacket. Really nice jacket. I love it. This is probably the coolest, thing that I've received from Fisker. And this was from the Garage Factory tour. I really like this, and it's got actually a really nice embroidered patch of the Fisker. So there we go. That is the Fisker merchandise, the Fisker wearables. So let's get back to the takeaways. Another takeaway that I've really liked from the earnings call, it was Burkhart ended up talking about the regulations. So there's over 100 regulations. They've done around 270 various tests that need to be completed. They actually said there are over 100 regulations, around 270 various tests that need to be completed, covering everything from crash testing to software readiness, and it applies to approximately 20 countries. So as we know, Fisker is going to be in 2 handfuls of launch countries or thereabouts. But once they get the government regulations sorted out, the homologation, the government certification, they're going to be able to, from my understanding, because all the testing is done for 20 countries, it should allow them to quickly move from one country to the next as far as expanding and growing the sales of the Fisker Ocean. So I thought that was actually pretty cool. Granted, as they move from country to country, they're going to have to set up a support network. And we did get some information at the very beginning of the earnings call around Fisker's building not only their physical lounges and Center Plus locations, but those will be integrated with trade-in and after-sales service and repair partners. They also did mention around collision repair and how they're starting to build a coalition repair network that they said has quickly expanded in the US and Europe for certified high-quality EV repairs. Did you end up catching that?
No, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. And having recently had my car, I could say I got in an accident. I was parked in a parking lot, and somebody ran into my car while I was picking up groceries. Well, just sitting there, trunk open, somebody turned in my car. And it's an EV. It's the Tesla Model 3. And I ended up wanting to get the car fixed from a Tesla certified body shop. And there happens to be Tesla certified body shops, but a lot of people will do the repair, but they're not necessarily a Tesla certified body shop that specializes in working with I think it's aluminum. And once the aluminum, my understanding is bent out of shape from the original mold, it's really hard to get it back. So people become certified for Teslas. People will become certified for Fisker, assuming, and that's probably that coalition network that Henrik talked about. They're going to be able to fix our Ocean 1s, our Ocean Extremes, Ultras, and Sports. So they'll have the expertise to do that, not just in Europe, but here in the United States, North America. So that's good news for in the insurance world. It's good news for us who have the Fisker Ocean. So that was pretty cool. Another takeaway that I ended up getting was with regards to Gita. She confirmed, and this was to your point earlier, she confirmed material ordering commitments for critical items such as batteries and drive units with suppliers and pre-production teams. They've been in constant communication with suppliers in the EU, China, and North America. They've been working with supply chain from the get-go. As we know, Gita provided an update on the manufacturing and supply chain status. with the final tuning underway, she said, in the body and paint shops and general assembly line, scheduled to wrap up by the end of March. The company has been ramping up, she said, in China. They're beginning to ramp. They're hiring key personnel. There's some sort of a China consolidation center that's been fully operational. The logistics modes have been, underway of, transporting, parts and things of that sort from ocean, truck, and rail. Those have all been used to support delivery of parts. There's just been so much. They ended up building some sort of, which I thought was interesting, a 3,000 square foot meter battery storage facility in Graz or in Austria to store all the batteries that come in from China, since I believe it's CATL, which is a China-based company who's going to be making the batteries. They got to get them and store them somewhere. And when we were at the factory in Graz, Austria, there's lots of buildings, but you would have to wonder, where are all the parts and where do they store all that stuff? So there must be a lot of offsite buildings that they house all the parts, because it didn't look like there was enough room to store all the parts to build a car, especially, thousands, 42,400. Where are they going to put all those parts? So they obviously don't have all of them, but, they get them, as they need them. And maybe it's like a just-in-time inventory. I'm not sure exactly how they do it, but I thought that was interesting. You probably want to stock up more supplies or parts supplies than you need, so that you never have an idle factory. So my guess is that's what the supply chain team is working on. What else did I get as a takeaway from the call? I think the big ones were really just the certification and the company, talking about the PEAR, the Alaska truck. We got the lounges update. We ended up learning about the sales license here in California. We didn't hear about any other states, but we did hear about California DMV, Department of Motor Vehicles. And I guess maybe one other thing, let's see here. So we talked about, people have been asking on the forum, or somebody asked this past week, they asked about service centers. Fisker ended up saying that they've signed an innovative test drive and delivery center in Munich, and it's currently in negotiations, or they're in negotiations for more than a dozen properties for additional Fisker lounges and Center Plus locations that will do vehicle prosthetics, which is like modifications. I've never heard of that word before, but that was Henrik's, word, vehicle prosthetic centers, and pickup locations in the United States and Europe. So they've got like 12 locations, or more than a dozen locations for Fisker lounges. We've seen photos from the one out in Copenhagen. We've seen the one obviously in Marienplatz in Germany. We've seen the one over in Los Angeles. And I guess there's going to be more to follow. So that's an exciting update. Seeing things actually built in the real world is pretty cool. And yeah, that's all the big takeaways. But I wrote an article on the site if you want more. There's 33 bullet points that I did. I spent probably 2 hours or so, maybe 2.5 hours writing all these notes up, published them online. I'll go ahead and paste them in the chat for the people who are interested in looking at it. You can definitely check it out. Those are all the takeaways, plus all the other bullet points, all the notes that I got. And of course, you can listen to the conference call again and write your own notes if that's of interest. Anything else you want to chat about on the earnings call before we go on to the next thing, Matt?
I think we're good.
Cool. So did you end up seeing the video, or the photos and the video from Henrik in Sweden over the weekend?
I don't know. Which ones were those?
So it was, there was a couple photos. One of the photos was a red planet, Fisker Ocean.
Yes,
and
one
this is
with
it right
the
here.
Accelerating.
Yeah.
On the test. Yeah, I did see that one. Yeah.
So you can see on this photo, you have, the Fisker Ocean red planet, and then you have a Fisker Ocean over here in camo in the back. I don't know how many people caught that, but like this was parked next to I cropped it to put it for the article, but like some people were commenting about like how weird the proportions of the photo were. It looked like Fisker may have cut out a lot of the stuff that was going at the top of the photo because it was really short. But it looked like there might have been a Porsche or something next to it. That Porsche or vehicle next to the Fisker Ocean in red had like
I think
loads.
it was a Macan.
Yeah, it might have been a Porsche Macan.
I think it's,
that's right.
And
that's what
I was
it looked like.
surprised it was a very similar size.
It did look similar, yeah, but it had a whole bunch of snow all on the back. And Henrik ended up mentioning that, what did he say? He said, aerodynamics. We designed the rear lower area to let the air slip off and create the least turbulence. See the lower spoilers and the cutout behind the wheels. We also engineered aerodynamic spoilers on each side of the rear window, and the roof spoiler has exactly the right departing angle for optimized flow. So that's important. I did a write-up about this because I thought there was a few things he talked about on the same day about aerodynamics. He also said aerodynamics, no need to clean license plate or taillights, even when driving in extreme snow in northern Sweden on a frozen lake in minus 12 degrees. And the digital rear view camera lets you see out of the rear perfectly. No issues with frozen, stuck rear wiper. So that I thought was interesting. He talked about that. And then if we go back to the video that we watched last week from the automotive sport gentleman who interviewed Henrik over at eCar Expo, Henrik said that they hired engineers from Boeing to help with aerodynamics and airflow around the vehicle. So I thought that was pretty neat. They employed techniques such as air curtains and focused on improving airflow underneath the car with the help of aerodynamics experts from Boeing. So the designers did not let aerodynamics dictate the design, but instead focused on implementing it in specific areas of the car, like underneath the vehicle. Pretty cool. And the reason why aerodynamics are important is because the vehicle relies on battery power to operate, and any energy that's lost due to air resistance or drag can reduce the car's range. So it's pretty cool to learn a little bit more about aerodynamics. Maybe there's lots of people who understand that stuff. I don't. I thought it was neat to see that. And then we got these photos as well. We got a photo, I think this might have come from Instagram or something, Instagram stories, and it was 3 Fisker Oceans, one in Blue Planet, one in Red Planet, and one in Big Sur Blue. And pretty cool. There was some question, some debate, or some people saying, I thought those wheels were in black, those Vortex wheels. What is your thought on that, Matt? Do you think the Vortex wheels are black? I know you talked about it maybe being shadows before.
I don't know. It still looks like a difference between the center cap and the spokes.
Yeah.
I mean, if they do come out with the black version, that would be great. I mean, they have black and silver of the other 22-inch wheels, so why not, right? I mean,
it makes sense.
It makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. Yeah, I think so. It'll be interesting to see. Let's watch the video here and see what this is all about. So you got the Fisker Ocean, different Fisker Oceans, doing some snow driving, different winter testing, doing a lot of like, I don't know, what are they, tail slides or whatever that's called. I don't even know what that's called, but it looks pretty cool.
They're drifting, basically.
They're drifting. There you go. They're drifting in the snow. Snow drifting. But yeah, that looked really cool. There was like a little glimpse there of the Fisker Ocean in great white behind a backdrop, or in front of a backdrop of a whole bunch of snow. So I really liked that. I thought that was kind of a fun one. And then we had a Fox interview on Monday. I don't know if you had a chance to listen to that particular video. Yeah. I thought it was totally off topic what they talked about. But they talked about charging, and the host has actually had some really good, Neil Cavuto. He's had some really good interviews with Henrik in previous earnings releases or after earnings calls. But this one focused more around ChargePoint, and he emphasized, how ChargePoint is helping the stock, and he didn't so much focus on what Henrik actually and the Fisker team actually talked about during the earnings call. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Not sure if it was pre-recorded or what, but it definitely looked like it was after the release of the Q4 and
Yeah.
2022 results.
The charge point announcement was only, a few days before, right? So maybe that's why.
Maybe. Wasn't that like Thursday or Friday last week?
It was just late last
Or
week.
I got the article right here, actually.
Yeah.
Let me click it. It's, what day was that? It was February 23rd. So 7 days ago.
Yeah.
But that would have been only a few days ago on Monday. So yeah, that's a pretty cool photo. We didn't talk about that last week because it happened after last Wednesday. But there's a Fisker Ocean in Night Drive with slipstream wheels in silver, and it looks pretty sharp. We ended up getting a sneak peek of a clip of ChargePoint, I think the weekend before, and then it was deleted mysteriously from the Facebook page and maybe even LinkedIn and Instagram. But the car is now going to be equipped. The software is going to be equipped with the ability to search for Fisker. The Fisker Ocean is going to be equipped with software to search for ChargePoint chargers and any charger that's on the ChargePoint charging network. So that's going to be good news, I think, for people who have the Fisker Ocean. Granted, there's been some complaints about ChargePoint themselves not having enough. I don't know what they're called.
DC fast charging.
Yeah, DC fast chargers. Yeah, I was trying to look for the fast chargers.
Because like, for example, in my area, it's all just level two.
Yeah,
charging.
That's how it is.
Everywhere.
It's all level 2. Yeah. I won't use just the standard ChargePoint charger.
When I looked at the map, it was only Canada that had the DC fast charging. So if you're in Canada, you're in luck.
Yeah, it was like northeast part on the map is what I saw. I didn't zoom super in, but yeah. So hopefully ChargePoint ends up utilizing some of the money that they get from the U.S. government to build some real fast chargers for people who are going to benefit from them with the Fisker Ocean. In our case, the Fisker Ocean software will be tapped into.
I can post a YouTube short that I did covering the ChargePoint app. I just had an example of using the app, and let me go find that.
And we didn't get one thing that was disappointing. I thought from that particular announcement was nothing for people in North America as far as the free charging goes. Like, we know that Fisker last year made an announcement with partner Allego, if that's how you pronounce it, over in Europe, and they ended up saying that customers were going to get charging for a full year, if I recall, if they took delivery by, I want to say, April 2024 or thereabouts, maybe March 2024, somewhere thereabouts.
Yes.
But we haven't heard anything for North America. And I was hoping that when Fisker announced this particular partnership, they would have given us a clue if there was going to be some sort of free charging like they had previously announced. I think it was like 2019 with their previous partner that they had, which was Electrify America. So kind of disappointed there. Maybe we'll get some more news on that. Maybe, for Allego, if it was like, I think I put it in the article. Let me actually check. There was a little bit on here. Let's see. Did I put it on here? I think I put it just in I did a post on the Fiskerati forums, and I copied and pasted it on there for me not to lose it. But yeah, I think it was like April of 2024. So if you take delivery between two dates, I think one was like March of 2023, and maybe it's like April of 2024, you get the 1 year free Allego. Now, how many Fisker Oceans are going to be delivered to people in Europe in that time period? Who knows? Is it 10,000, 15,000? I'm not sure. Beats the heck out of me. But it's not like it's going to be tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands. So
I'll post that link. Do you want to post it?
Yeah, no, I got it. I'm going to play it. Should I play it, or is it a long one?
Yeah, it's pretty short. I guess
let's do it.
It's not narrated. It's just a quick thing.
Yeah, let's look at it. Yeah, that's pretty neat.
So basically, I was showing how the ChargePoint app works, and then you can show what's in your local area, and then you can pick. There's an icon for doing the. Oh, did it stop?
Did it stop? There we go.
There it is. Can you make it larger or?
Yeah, let me try if I can make it larger. Maybe try to zoom in.
That one.
Does that work or no?
There we go. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so it allows you to pick your different choices. Like I picked the CCS charging, and then the nice thing is the app has all the different other charging networks, so you can do that. For this example, I just showed what was available, and when you look at it, there's not very, that's just all like some of the level 2 stuff. The other CCS in the area that's not ChargePoint. Yeah, so I just wanted to show they have a mapping, and then you can click on.
And you can toggle right there too, DC chargers.
You can toggle, you can click on, say, just ChargePoint, and this one's just showing ChargePoint. And
yeah,
there's not much
it looks
there.
Like
there was
Apple
one
Maps
at
on that one.
I think it was a dealership, Mercedes dealership had
there you go.
One right there. But that was like the only thing. It was a very slow one too. I think it was 24 kilowatts, which is barely DC fast charging.
Yeah.
But so it's the nice thing is the ChargePoint app, and most likely the navigation in the Ocean will have the ability to search all of the other networks too. So not just ChargePoint.
Yeah.
You can search EVgo, all the other ones. There's like a dozen that are on the list. So I think that'll be good.
Yeah, and it's not.
We want to have like some sort of like the European deal where there's some free charging, but I don't know if that's going to be a separate thing or not. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. One thing that was interesting to me, I thought the Allego, however you pronounce it, I thought that when I originally read the press release, I thought it was all European customers get that. One thing that was interesting was that Fisker today, you may have saw or maybe you didn't, they ended up announcing over on their Fisker Sweden Instagram account, they ended up announcing that, let's see here, I can't read this particular text. Let me see if there's a translate. No, there's no translate. Basically, in Sweden, they ended up announcing free charging through Allego today, or they posted it today. I don't know why they posted it today, but as people who may see this image being familiar, this is the image I used to create the cover image of the live stream tonight for the episode number 17 of All Things Fisker. But I thought that was interesting. They announced Allego today on the Sweden Fisker account. So that was kind of an interesting one to me. Charging is pretty important for an electric vehicle. And maybe we'll get some more details around any partnerships they have. Maybe we can start looking forward to more DC fast charger locations near us. As right now, we only have locations for ChargePoint at our local library and a handful of other business parks. They're not apartment complexes. I think we have a couple, but not too many that we would use other than what we already have in our garage. I think that's going to be a
the
big
nice
one.
thing about ChargePoint in our area, I think every single one is free. So
really,
it's usually negotiated with the site owner. Usually some office building or wherever it's located is the one that dictates that. But a lot of them in our area are in shopping centers and office complexes, and they're all free. So it's nice
awesome.
if you can leave the car there and go see a movie or something, and you come back, have dinner, and you can get a nice amount of charge for free. So
yeah, that's really nice. That's really cool. So more to come, hopefully, from Fisker on charging. Now, going back to this interview with CNBC, I thought this was a super interview. This was probably right up there, in my opinion, with what was announced on the earnings call. Obviously, this was a subset of the earnings call, but Henrik actually said a couple cool things. If you haven't seen this, it's on the homepage of the Fiskerati site, but he got interviewed by Phil LeBeau, who covers all things transportation on CNBC. And Henrik ended up, what did he say here? He said, one of the interesting things about our business model is we have a contract manufacturer that can ramp up really quickly, quote unquote. He goes on to say, so once we pull the trigger on the ramp, we will be able to deliver a ton of cars quickly, which is really the difference, I think, on Fisker's business model. He then also went on to say, most startups, they're not making profit for 2 or 3 or 4 years. So the cash burn is much more dramatic. In our case, because of our business model, we are making money on the first cars we ship. And that was in response to their cash burn and how they're different from Rivian and Lucid. And today, I don't know if you saw what happened after hours. I think it was yesterday, actually. Lucid and Rivian, but like Rivian announced earnings yesterday, and oh my golly, their stock went down 18% today. That was a shocker to me to see that. I think yesterday it was down 10% after hours, and then today it slid even further. And currently it looks like the futures stock market are slightly down and up according to Yahoo Finance. S&P down 0.25%, opening up maybe tomorrow, but that usually changes by the morning. Okay, totally sidetracked. But the Rivian, I thought that was really interesting how Fisker differentiated on CNBC Fisker's business from that of Rivian, Lucid, and other pure EV startups. He ended up sharing that on the earnings call that the company, the guidance of the 8 to 12% profitability is that being like a possibility this go around. So it just goes to show that maybe the contract manufacturing route, the partnering with Magna, that's the road less traveled that I wrote about. And maybe it actually is enough to make Fisker succeed. They're going to have this asset light approach. They don't need to raise as much capital as that of a Lucid or a Rivian, and they're going to end up able to do more with less by leveraging platforms that other companies have already developed, like Magna. So that was pretty cool. That was something that I thought was a pretty good takeaway from this week on Monday during the earnings call. Much better the CNBC interview than the Fox interview, but both of them were great. It's always great to see the company Fisker getting national and probably international exposures. Is when I lived over in England, I used to watch CNBC as well, so I know it's broadcasted all over the place. So any publicity is good publicity, I believe at this stage. But yeah, that's I think that's pretty much all my takeaways from this week. Was there anything exciting that you thought, hey, I didn't cover that you want to chat about? Was there anything that you took away from either the earnings call or any other announcement that's been made?
I think that's about it. Just personal news. I got my 2-week lock-in email on Monday.
That's exciting news.
I get to spend the next 2 weeks doing my final, decision on the wheels. I'm pretty much set on paint with the Mariana and the interior with the Malibu, but I keep flipping back and forth on the wheels between the F3 and F5. So Slipstream versus the Air Glider. So I'm keep going back and forth on them.
And are you thinking between the Slipstreams and the Air Gliders, silver, black? Have you decided
both
on
black.
That?
Both black.
Okay.
Yeah.
Black.
Yeah. So I think the Slipstreams are really cool. I'd like to see how it works with the covers and stuff like that, and just kind of neat with the carbon fiber on it. But I like the look of the Air Gliders better. So it's like
I originally had the Air Glider selected when I chose the Great White, the Air Gliders, and the Black Abyss, and then I went back and watched the real crummy video that I did. It was really bad quality video from the Fully Charged Live in San Diego, and I was like, wow, I really like the Air Glider. And granted, it wasn't the black Air Glider, but it was still the Air Glider. And then I looked at the photos again from the Texas pop-up location that I visited in Austin, and I was like, man, those actually look really good. I think I got to go with the Slipstream over the Air Glider, even though I really like the Air Glider. When I was at the Magna the factory, we were in the room where the executives presented, the management presented, and that car in Blue Planet had the Air Glider. And I'm afraid of potentially scratching wheels. Like that's like a big thing for me is, oh, I'll feel so bad to have a really nice exterior that has wheels that have scratches in them. And I know you can probably pay to get them fixed.
So I think you were saying that the Slipstream is a little more inset than the Air
That's
Glider.
right.
Air Glider sticks out a little bit.
Sticks out just a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Just a little bit. Enough
I
for
could see.
someone clumsy like me driving, who who will probably end up hitting a curb or doing something stupid, and then I'll feel real bad. So I'm going with the Slipstreams. And if the cover gets scratched for some reason, I could always replace the cover. I don't need to buy new wheels. Assuming Fisker sells parts, right? I'm sure they're going to sell parts. So, you know, and the neat thing about the Air Glider wheel is the base, the Slipstream. The cool thing about the Slipstream is the base part of the wheel is a black finish, and then the cover is what differentiates it from black and silver. So in theory, somebody who gets the black could end up
switch.
You can. Hey, tonight I want to dress up the car with silver Slipstreams, or I want to dress up the car with black Slipstreams, because tonight's going to be an elegant night, and you know it's like tuxedo for the car. My car is going to be the night drive, so it's going to look cool with the black, I think. And then maybe at one point I want to make it look like the Fisker Ocean that was in that Charge Point video, and have the night drive with the silver wheels. So it's much more affordable to do that than to pull actual wheels off the car, undo lug nuts, all that stuff. Oh, too much work. That's a neat way to differentiate it, assuming those covers are easy to get on and off. I would imagine they are, but we'll find out. We will find out. So that's exciting news for you. And then what are you choosing for the interior? Are you stuck on Malibu, or what are you
Malibu? Yeah, I'm pretty set on Malibu. Yeah. I've had the black interior for the last 5 years, so I was looking for something different. And the white is, my wife told me, do not get white. That's the only thing she told me that she suggested not to do. So
that's funny.
So I will abide by that.
Yeah, that's good. Why not, right? You got to choose something that hopefully everyone will like. My wife really didn't like the black. She wanted the white. And I said, you know, this is kind of like a once in a lifetime, but the Fisker Ocean 1 limited to 5,000. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to bite the bullet. I'm going to be the one cleaning the car likely anyways. And I may as well go with the black, even though I really wanted the Big Sur blue. And then I settled for the white, and then I really like white. But I thought, you know what? I think I've owned two black cars. One being in 2000, it was a 2000 Ford Expedition. Oh my God, that car was so hard to wash because it was so tall, and it took forever to wash. And then another one was a CRX, a 1990 CRX, was in black. So those are the two black cars I had. I know what it takes to maintain a black car. Granted, though, my last, I think, four cars maybe have been white. But I've had, a red truck, a red Toyota Tacoma. I think I did some article. I think I mentioned I've had like 14 cars, 15 cars. I don't know, somewhere thereabouts in my life already. So it's quite a lot of cars. At least I think so. Probably too many. So the Fisker Ocean will be the next one, which is pretty cool. So yeah, your lock date's when then? 2 weeks would be March what?
13th.
March 13th.
Yeah.
So we'll count down for you. That'll be fun. And another thing too, if helping you decide between the Slipstream and the Air Glider, I personally haven't seen, I don't know if you've seen, but Fisker was sending out those emails. It was like a drip marketing or a way to get more intimate with your Fisker Ocean build configuration. So we ended up getting the one about, our exterior. We got the one about the interior, and then we got the one about the wheels. The wheels that we got were the Slipstreams, and Henrik talked about, or not Henrik, but the email talked about the aerodynamics of the Slipstream. So we know that the Aero Stealth is supposed to be very, very aerodynamic because it too has covers on it. I haven't seen anyone else share. Maybe I've seen snippets of it, but I haven't seen the full emails of the Air Glider. So I'm not sure, or the Cyclone. The Vortex Cyclone. I haven't seen any emails on those. So my guess is they don't talk about aerodynamics in those. So maybe the only of the 22s, the only more aerodynamic wheel might be the Slipstream. So
Yeah,
something to think
it would
about.
be nice to know if they put that on the description, maybe it's saying like this is the
So
most
nice.
efficient, but who knows?
That's
I
asking
mean,
for too much.
it's possible that they haven't checked all three in comparison. I
That's
don't
true.
know. I mean,
That's true. Yeah. How much do the covers actually really help on the Slipstream? Who knows? Who knows? But we'll I don't even know how we'll test that out, but we'll do a full charge in the garage. We'll go drive so many miles, and
yeah.
we'll see how many miles are left on the car. Do we go up hills? Do we stay on flat roads? Who knows? There's so many
I got a
variables.
perfect test route for when I get my car.
Do you?
My city has a beltway, so I just get out onto the beltway, do a full circle back to my house, and just repeat that
That's
same
convenient.
thing. And I just set the cruise control, and I can get it locked in at lower the number of variables, so to
That's
speak.
really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, we don't really have too much here that do loops. I have the coast.
And it's a nice like 22-mile loop. So
that's really
that
nice.
should be long enough to do a comparison.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know what I'll do, but I'll figure something out, and we'll drive around, and I'll probably get suggestions from you and Jim and our watchers and our viewers, and figure out what the best way to do that stuff. But I can't wait. I'm super excited for that. Speaking of kind of like news and things that happen, there is something new, and I haven't read it yet, but there's a Form 10K that was filed today with it's like a stock market filing, and it's like the annual report, I think. So that I posted to the Fiskerati forums earlier today. It goes to everything from like risk factors all the way down to executive compensation, financial statements, talks about products, all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to read through that. It's 108 pages, and that'll be a fun read at some point this week. And if I find anything interesting, I'll post it to the Fiskerati forums. And then if it's interesting enough, I'll probably write an article about something. So if people are interested in checking that out, you can head over to the Fiskerati forums and check that out. I think I put it in the shareholder section. But that came out today, I think around like 1 o'clock after the stock market closes when I noticed it. So that's some new reading material for people that are interested. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We don't have anything else that I think has happened. At least I can't see anything else. Let me go to the forums real quick and see if there's anything interesting there that popped up here. Let's see. I love interacting with quite a few people on the forum. See Phil, if you're watching, I always enjoy your posts and the stuff that you put on there. He did one about From the Horse's Mouth. I thought that was kind of funny. Posted an article. Fisker confirms deliveries of its Ocean EVs will begin in spring. So that was kind of a fun one. Right now, there's 71 people, it looks like, on the Fiskerati forum. So if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. There's talk about the CNBC interview that I posted on there. People are chatting about production delays or what they think are production delays.
Oh, and I just thought of something that we forgot to talk about was the sweepstakes.
Oh my God, you're right. The sweepstakes. We forgot all about that. Do we know who won the sweepstakes? Have they announced it?
I don't think they've announced it. But it was an amazingly short sweepstakes. What was it? 2 days?
Right? Yeah,
2 days. That's usually sweepstakes are like 2 weeks or a month, or I think there was like something like 50,000 entries or something.
Holy moly! Yeah, let's figure it. Yeah, I think you could enter every.
Let me see. I think I had it. I
think
I have a screenshot somewhere.
Yeah, maybe
see if I can find it.
Let's see. Sweepstakes.
I may not have it on this computer.
Let's see. Where did I wrote something about that. Let's see here. Sweepstakes. Yeah, so I ended up entering that the morning of, I think. And then I wrote about that and let people know that Henrik was going to be on the Fox Business on Monday. And then there was another thing that I talked about on the article. I can't, unfortunately, the search is broken right this moment. It looks like on the Fiskerati site. So I can't find the actual article. That's always fun. Maybe I can find it through Google. Let me see. Fisker sweepstakes. Let's see what I find here. Oh, there we go on Google. That's always works out. Henrik shows off Fisker Ocean. Fisker sweepstakes and upcoming TV appearance. That was the article that I posted. So the sweepstakes, let me find a link to it. And Fisker ended up doing a Fisker wall box sweepstakes announced earlier by the company. The company is giving away to Fisker fans a chance to win a wall box Pulsar Plus EV home charger, retail value of $595. According to Fisker, the company is giving away a fast and powerful wall box home charger to one lucky #Fisker fan. So we don't know who that Fisker fan is yet. We do not. But here is what the sweepstakes looks like. Let's pull it up. Share my screen. Maybe we'll find something interesting on this sweepstakes. And it was done by a company called Glean. I've never heard of them, but I guess they do sweepstakes. So hopefully you can see my screen here, and you end up having the sweepstakes. So 3,250 entries. That was me, 3,250 entries. That's pretty good. Total entries, 554,725 total entries. And it's ended. So I ended up having quite a few entries. I guess that's good. Every day I could go back and I could enter again. There was like 4 options. One of them was, reserve a Fisker Ocean. You didn't actually have to reserve the Fisker Ocean. It was no purchase necessary. So you could click the link. They just wanted you to click like 4 links. The second one, what was it? The second one was something along the lines of sharing the link with other people, and you could earn something. There was like 4 things you could do.
And the configurator too was one.
Yeah,
too.
Check out the configurator. Yeah, and you could do that one every day. You get 100 points.
That's what I got on that one.
And if you referred people, you could get 50. I ended up referring some people to it, and we ended up getting 3,250 entries. So that was pretty cool. So thank you for the people who ended up using our referral link. Chances of us winning, slim to none. But
it's still better than the lottery. So
better than absolutely.
Because if you look at it, if you take the total entries divided by your number of entries, it's probably like less than 1 in 1,000.
Oh, for sure it is. It's
that's not bad.
1 in 170 people.
Yeah,
that's not too bad.
Yeah,
1 in 170 chances. That's not bad. That's not bad. So we'll see what happens. Hope maybe we'll get a Fisker wall box charger after all. At some point, we're going to get a Fisker wall box charger. We're going to take down the charger in the garage, the Tesla wall connector, and we will install. So we already have the line run. It shouldn't be too hard. Just turn off the power and install the new charger. So that'll be a fun project to record on video and go through that process, show people what it's like. And who knows when we'll do that, but maybe in the next few months, we'll get a chance to do that. That'll be a fun one. But yeah, the sweepstakes, that was a good catch. We totally missed that. We missed that one.
All right, let's see what other questions we got.
So somebody Kevin McKinnon, I think he's in Texas. Hey, Kevin. He asked, what is the biggest thing you all, and he's talked to everybody in the chat here, but we'll go ahead and answer this ourselves. What is the biggest thing you all are looking forward to with your Ocean One? I'll let you start, Matt. What are you looking forward to the most?
I am looking forward to testing out the solar roof, even though it's not going to be used very much. I can't wait to try it out and stick it in the sun for an entire day and see what it gets and play around with that sort of thing. I know a lot of people are upset about the light shining through the solar panels. But I mean, honestly, if it is a big problem for me, I'm going to tint it if it if it is. But otherwise, I think it's one of the top things that I'm looking forward to checking out. Besides the range of the car itself, how far it goes.
Of course. I think my favorite thing, or the thing that I'm looking forward to the most with my Fisker Ocean one, includes the solar sky roof, but it's California mode. Yes. I'm looking forward to rolling down all the windows, family in the car, cruising down the 101, looking at the ocean while driving the ocean, and maybe listening to a song about the ocean on the radio, whatever song that might be. Who knows? But
on the great sound system that comes
on the great sound
with the
system,
car.
The Fisker Pulse, right? Yeah,
yep.
That's what I'm looking for. I love listening to music. I listen to music all the time. So got Spotify and Apple Music on the computer, got those on my phone at Pandora, app, iHeartRadio. And as a reminder to everybody, iHeartRadio, you can listen to All Things Fisker episode 17 and every other episode that we've done. We've done this 17 weeks, not in a row, but 17 weeks. We're at 17 episodes, and I threw a bonus episode earlier this week, which was the Q4 2022 earnings call for the people that want to listen to that. That is on the podcast channel. So yeah, it's all over the place, this podcast. It's growing. It's got tentacles and it keeps growing, and it's exciting. It's now on Stitcher for the people that are joining us now. It's on Pandora, and it's on iHeartRadio, as I just mentioned. In addition to that, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and TuneIn. So it's growing. I think we're at eight different places now. Why, I have no clue, but I'll tell you this. It's super easy to do this. So I end up downloading the stream here. I write a little blurb on the site, and then the site automatically publishes it to all these places at once. Boom, done. So I just had to set up all the accounts at all these places. And if there's one that I'm missing that people like, that's super easy to set up, let us know in the comments. I'm happy to go spend 5 or 10 minutes to set up the podcast account at whatever site or service you're interested in. That's super easy. And then when I publish it on one, it goes to all. So it's like one to many. That's like the greatest distribution mechanism ever. So the podcast will live for the foreseeable future. And it's fun. It's fun to chat here with Matt and Jim when he's on, and any other guests we have. I've invited a couple other people who have YouTube channels. I've heard from them. I thought we might actually have a surprise visitor tonight, but the guest didn't show up. But we're going to keep trying, to get people to come on here that also like the Fisker Ocean, Fisker, what they're doing, maybe EVs. Jim loves talking about other EVs, so he does good on the EV notable news.
And he apologizes tonight. He had a little health emergency, so
that's right. Otherwise, he would have joined us.
Couldn't make it. Yeah. But I think he's hopefully doing fine.
Hopefully he's doing better. Yeah. So we miss him, and if there's other people you want to try to get us on here with, let us know. Reach out to them. We're open to letting people on here. If there's any guests that are actually that listen to us, that love the show, that want to be a guest, I'm going to throw it out there. You can reach out to me, and we love to have you on. There's a couple people that are on the show all the time. It'd be fun to actually chat with people that watch us and get a different perspective. Add a new face on here. So the invite's out there, and that should be a lot of fun. But let's go look at other questions. Thanks, Kevin, for that question. That was a fun one. California mode and the solar sky roof. Those were our answers. Let us know, Kevin, what your favorite feature or thing you want to check out. Doug Feel audio system. Yeah, that's one that we want to check out as well. The audio system is going to be a good one. Let's see other questions that we have in the chat on YouTube. Looks like there's 80 people watching this. I think at one point I saw like 95. So not quite as much as last week, but we still have a good turnout. It's always fun to do this. Even if we have like 10 people watching us, it'd still be just as much fun as 100. I think
we got one more thing to talk about that's kind of related to the Ocean as far as the charging networks. This week, Tesla opened up their superchargers to non-Tesla CCS
I saw
in
that.
2 states.
Yeah, you shared that. That was really cool.
So that's California and New York State. And I think it was about half a dozen sites. And the interesting thing is all those sites had all of the stalls. Some of them have like 12 different stalls for charging. They converted them all to the Magic Dock, which is surprising because they were announcing that they were going to change over, I don't know, like 20 something % of the existing stalls to the new Magic Dock. But if they're opening new locations and they put them all as Magic Dock, I think that speaks well for the future of charging when you're on interstate trips, that in addition to EVgo and Electrify America and the others, you also have the option to use Tesla superchargers, which I think would be a great advantage for driving the CCS cars like the Ocean.
Yeah, that's great. And I think you shared some photos. Was it Buffalo or?
Yeah, it was near Buffalo. Yeah, Buffalo is where the Gigafactory that Tesla has that makes the actual superchargers, the equipment. So it kind of makes sense that within that few 100-mile area, they're doing all the tests near the factory. So,
got it. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Thanks for sharing that one. And then we have a question about someone asked me. They said, Sean, why the switch from sea salt to Black Abyss? So I actually always wanted to do the Black Abyss Plus. That was kind of the interior that I thought not only looked good, but would be easy to clean. Having a little kiddo, we want to try to keep the car as clean as possible. And of the options that I've seen, I've never seen sea salt in person. I've only seen Malibu and Black Abyss Plus. Of the two, the one that I thought was most comfortable and easiest to potentially clean was the Black Abyss Plus. I think I could wipe the seats down really easy if I got, salt water from the ocean, or if I go for a run and I have a sweaty shirt or whatever it may be. It's just going to be easier for me to wipe down, clean, and maintain. That's why I've chosen the Black Abyss Plus over any other option, whether it be sea salt or the Malibu. So I did a write-up on that one just because a lot of people ask, like, what interior should I choose? Why'd you choose Black Abyss Plus versus anything else? It's really around cleanliness and just trying to keep the vehicle clean. Now, that kind of goes in the total opposite on the exterior. Black is probably going to be the second hardest color maybe to clean of the Fisker Ocean. I think the first one's probably the Big Sur Blue. That's going to be a bear to clean. But I can't wait to learn from people who get the Big Sur Blue, that matte finish, and how they maintain it. That's going to be a fun one. But night drive's a hard color to keep clean. Black's not easy. It shows every bit of dust. And I've been noticing, I go for a run usually every single day, and I keep looking at black cars, and down the street from me, there happens to be a black car. It's a black Excursion, and it's actually a black matte finish. And that thing has caked, it's caked with dust. And I don't even know, it just is always looking dirty. I don't know if they clean it or what, but it's a matte finish. And, I feel sorry for that car because it's always dirty looking. So if I had a black car that was matte finish, it might also look as dirty as that one. But I'm going to wash the car probably every couple of weeks. Right now, I wash the car every couple of months, and that's being generous. Probably once every 4 months. The last 2 times I've washed our current car has actually been, believe it or not, Matt, it's been in the rain. I've waited for it to rain outside. I pulled the car out of the garage. I got a bucket of soap, filled it up with hot, warm water, threw my sweatshirt on with the zipper, and I went out there with my sandals on my feet as opposed to running shoes or whatever. And I washed the car. I spent 15 or 20 minutes in the freezing cold with the rain coming down and washed the
relatively
car.
Freezing.
Yeah, no, it was cold. It was like in the 50s. Yeah, it's cold. Relatively freezing. But wearing shorts, it makes it a little colder. I'm always wearing shorts. So the car, I've washed the car just sporadically, our current car, and I think I'll actually, because I've been so in love with the Fisker Ocean, I'll probably treat it very much like the CRX I had, which I also was in love with when I was 18 years old, 17 and 18 when I had that car in high school. I washed that car all the time, and I kept really good care of it. Current car, it's just a car, but it's an electric car. I like the car. It's a great car. It's fun. It's super fun to drive, but don't really have a huge emotional connection with it as I think I will have with the Fisker Ocean one. We'll see what happens. So I don't know where why I'm talking about that, but that's what I'm talking about. For those that are paying attention here. Question: what have you got to say regarding the Oceans that came off the boat the other day? That's from Silver North. Thanks for being on the Fiskerati forums, Silver North, and I love chatting with you on there. So what do I think about them? I saw a post of Fisker Ocean in Big Sur Blue, and I want to say it had air gliders, and there might have been one also. There was like a couple different Big Sur Blue Fisker Oceans in the photo, possibly one in Great White, couldn't tell. But there's definitely a few in Big Sur Blue that got off some boat in some port. Maybe the port is Los Angeles or Long Beach. We talked about last week. We were tracking the Poseidon leader, and I ended up.
I guess it was true, right?
Maybe it was true. But we don't know
so.
if that photo was exactly from that port. Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know who ended up taking the photo, but it's on the forum. That was fun. I think it showed up on Stock Twits first, if I recall, by maybe the person that said that it was going to carry a few Oceans. So where are those Oceans going?
But the key thing is that it showed the shipping wrap that the Ocean had, which completely covers the car, which is great because I know a lot of cars, like I'm not going to say Tesla, but they don't cover their cars for shipping, and the cars can get beat up on train and semi get into your local showroom. So I
made that comment on the forum. It literally had every square inch it looked like had some sort of wrapping. Whether I'm guessing Magna does that, maybe Magna, maybe
I'm
the
guessing,
transporter. Yeah, probably Magna. And then it had even what looked like probably booties or something around each of the tires.
Yes.
Like there was some sort of
something
wrapping around the tire
to keep it from getting scratched. Yeah.
Yeah. Not just the wheel, but the tire. I was like, what tires? Why would you wrap them? Maybe to make the tires look brand spanking new when you get it. I don't know. But
I've never seen that.
That was good to know. I've never seen that either. I thought that was neat. When I got the Tesla, they delivered it to our house here. They drove it, I think, from Temecula or Carlsbad. So they put a few miles on it before it got to our house, and the car still looked nice. I noticed like a little imperfection in the paint. Like I think it was day 5 or 7, but the car had already over 100 miles. It had like 105 or 110. And I guess you have to catch those things within the first 100 miles to report it. So I missed that, but I can't even remember exactly where it is, but I think it's on the A-pillar on the passenger side. And I notice it every time I clean the car in the rain. But it doesn't bother me. I forget about it. And then like now I'm remembering it. So that's what I think about the Oceans that were on the Ocean that got delivered maybe in Long Beach. I think those are probably going to end up being maybe cars that are the latest and the greatest off of the assembly line in Magna, and maybe those will be in the Los Angeles, the Grove lounge, maybe.
Makes sense.
And that Grove is going to be pretty cool, Matt. It's going to be, from my understanding, 2 stories tall. That's crazy. To have a showroom 2 stories tall, but then again, this is the first one. It's flagship.
I've been to that outdoor mall a few years ago. I think it's in the old Apple store.
That's what they said. Yeah. That's what they said. Yeah, and that mall is nice. It has a really cool farmers market. I think the last time I've been there was probably 5 years ago. I can't remember why I went up there, but I did go up there.
Huge restaurant, outdoor food area, and farmers
AMC
market
movie
and all
theater.
that. Yeah, a whole bunch of stuff there.
It is. Yeah, it's close to Beverly Hills or near Beverly Hills. So whenever I was up there last, we checked it out. It's kind of like the touristy thing to do when you're from San Diego and you go up there. Let's go to the farmers market. Like that's what the fun thing to do. Tommaso probably goes there all the time. I think he's in LA. He probably goes there and gets a smoothie. I don't know if he's still watching, but maybe he can confirm what the best there is. Maybe he can confirm what the best smoothie is from the market at the Grove, because that's usually what I do when I go there. I get a smoothie or something. This healthiest option of options. What else do we have as far as questions? Let's see here. One thing I was hoping to hear on the Fisker earnings call was something about financing of the Fisker Ocean. We still don't know much about financing. We don't know when that's going to happen. Maybe it's going to be once the certification happens or the regulatory approvals are given, maybe sooner, not sure. Maybe that'll happen in March. Maybe it'll be second quarter for us, because that's our estimated delivery quarter. Who knows what it'll be for other people. Someone said, what questions should we ask you guys? I have no idea. Let's see here. What else? Is there anything else in the chat? Geez, there's a lot of chat questions tonight. Yeah, we were all hoping, Tommaso, that the homologation would be completed. That didn't happen. I guess the next best thing was it's going to be done in March. The EPA stuff sounded positive. Lots of positives. And this, well, you didn't mention the stock. I hate talking about the stock because people are so emotional about the stock, but it was shocking to see the stock up 30-something% on Monday. That's news in of itself. I think there must have been dozens of articles written.
It's settled down a little bit, I think.
Since it's come back a little, but still, the amount of articles were written, skyrocket,
still above 7. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it closed at today. 7. I think I had
7
it up earlier. 7:10, 7:11, 7:13. Yeah, so that was interesting news. Just the people ended up writing about just the stock, going up because the stock has been so much down recently, and it definitely saw some life. It came back to life. So that was pretty neat. Sean, do you timeline between homologation and certification? Well, it sounded like homologation has to happen and then the certification happens, is how I understood it from what Henrik said. So it's like one thing has to happen, then the next thing, and then the cars are available for sale or customer delivery. I don't know the amount of time that it happens. I don't know much about that, to be honest. I've never followed a car from start to finish before. This is the first time I've ever tracked a car. And I'm kind of learning as I go about this process. I actually just assumed they would, do all their testing, submit some stuff, and hey, we're all ready to start selling cars. I guess it's much harder than that. But maybe we'll all find out together here later this month, and we can all celebrate. You just mentioned about credit unions. Our credit union, as far as financing goes, I think I checked last, it was like 5.5%. Since then, interest rates went up another quarter of a point. So I think my credit union will probably have gone up another quarter of a point or thereabouts. So I would imagine, this is a guess, I would imagine by the time we have to do the financing, that being me, interest rates are going to probably go up at least another quarter of a point. I'm guessing in March this month, I think the Federal Reserve or the Fed ends up meeting again, and I think my guess is they're going to raise interest rates up another quarter point. So if we have to finance in April, chances are we're going to be stuck. We're going to be at 6% by then, is my guess, and that's at my local credit union. If I do the local credit union, but I think personally, I want to go through the Fisker finance process. If I'm going to finance the car, I don't know how much money I'm going to save. I'll compare the two once I get across that bridge, and I'll probably write an article about it or post it in the forums. But I want to kind of go through the experience with the Fisker app. And that's news. Didn't mention that one. Tomorrow, March 2nd, we're getting a new iOS app supposedly. Let's go check now. Maybe it's dropped early.
Yeah, did it? Is it download? I didn't even know it was this soon. I thought it was like another week.
I think they said March 2nd and March 16th. March 16th being Android and March 2nd being the website and the iOS app. So let's check. The website's still the website. I don't see anything new on the website. And I had an issue last week about logging into the website. I couldn't log in to save my life. I kept getting a maintenance page, and that was a bummer.
It's not on my list of updates. So
no. Okay, so we have to check that tomorrow. That'll be a fun one to see what is on there. Tomorrow's the day. Fisker. Let's see. Nope, nothing new yet. 1 month ago. We're at version 2.4.3. So maybe they do like they bump the version. Maybe it'll be 3.0 next. And maybe we'll have that tomorrow. If you haven't downloaded the Fiskerati app, there is a Fiskerati app on iOS and Android. Yes, there are ads on it. I removed some of the ads from the main portion of the page, the main home screen, but there are ads on the article pages. So that helps fund the hobby here. So if you want to remove the ads, that would be your option. You can end up doing so by subscribing to the Fiskerati Premium. So it's the ad-free digital subscription, and you can remove the ads, those pesky ads, and you can unlock a few of the premium articles that I've written, and there'll be plenty more of those to come over time as we get more information. So that's that. So I think
right.
I think we nailed it. I think we're done. I think that was a fun time. I had a good time. Hopefully everyone enjoyed us and enjoyed chatting. Thank you all for hanging out with us. And maybe we'll do this again next week if there's something to talk about. We usually do this if there's something to talk about. This week there's a lot of stuff to talk about. Next week maybe there'll be something to talk about. And if there is, we'll probably be here if we're around. Is that right? Probably.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. All right. So everybody, you have a good night, and we will chat with you later.
Good night.